I remember when The Last Jedi came out,
Yeah, let's get into it.
and all the people who said, oh, they really like The Last Jedi. Anybody who said anything different,
Yeah.
anybody who expressed dislike for it, you would have people appear in comment sections on Facebook and whatever other social media, wherever people were discussing the movie.
Yeah.
Anytime someone expressed a dislike about it, you would have people pop up.
Yeah, just anywhere.
You would have people pop up and start saying, "You're a bigot. You just hate strong female characters. That the Force is female now." Which it's like I'm like you. I think that sort of thing is wrong no matter which side does it.
Yeah.
But I think, unfortunately, the internet being the cesspool that it is, it's just kind of like it comes with the whole it comes with the package, you know?
It comes with anonymity. It comes with being able to not be public about who you are, where you live, or what you do. At the same time, you can go and just tell somebody to F off or kill themselves. And it's like, obviously that's not cool and that shouldn't be what you should do. But people are people and people are going to do what they do. You know, there's bad people and they're going to do bad things, you know? So, but I think also, you and me were talking about this before the pod, is I think my theory is, and they're not all children, but my theory is a lot of them are children and they're, you know, be able to be an anonymous. Thank you. Anonymous. That's probably a word, but not what I need it for. But they're able to do this. I remember when I was like 12 or 13 years old and I just got internet, I'm like, wow, I can make a comment. That's really cool.
Oh, that reminds me of something.
Yeah.
I don't know if I showed this to you or not. I hope I still have it because it's so amazing. And it basically speaks to what we were talking about.
Yeah. Well, while you look for that, yeah, I think a lot of it is children, whether it be 6 years old to 16 and 60-year-old. Like it could be anybody in that age range, and they're gonna act like children regardless because they're able to. The fact, though, that boggles my mind, David, is that they're willing to take time out of their day and waste energy on telling somebody to kill themselves and to, just write a vitriolic comment, and so passionate that they'll write multiple paragraphs. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a very artistically gifted. I'm a very artistically minded person too. I can go and just write a whole bunch of stuff if I'm feeling passionate about it, sure. But not everybody's like that. So come on, guys.
Yeah, well, I think what it is you kind of hit the nail on the head earlier. The anonymity of the internet emboldens people like that. And I think, a lot of it's children, but I think a lot of it's not just children. It's people who have the maturity of a child,
yes,
who should be fully grown adults, but are not. And the things and the anonymity of the internet emboldens them to say things that would probably get them punched if they said it in, real life.
Yeah. Did you find your
thing? And this speaks to exactly what you were talking about. It's so hilarious. So I'll read it. I'll show you the picture and then I'll read it. It's so amazing. So the picture is just this.
Okay, this Chad dude.
The Chad dude with, some cool sunglasses. And it says, this is back from when Threads was first launched.
Oh, okay.
It says, you signed up for Threads because you foolishly think it's a better alternative to Twitter. I signed up because my mom can't follow me on there, and now I can say bad words like ass and damn and titties and poop.
It's so true, though. Like, you're not going to go on Facebook and unless you're in a group, but you're not going to go on Facebook and make a giant rant about The Last Jedi because your parents are on there, or your family's on there, or your friend or your older friends or whatever are on there. Heck, your kids could be on there. Your kids could have a profile on there and you don't want to be there. So you go to X or Twitter or other places like that, or Threads or even, and you go on there and you have that anonymity. No, that's not how you say it.
Anonymity?
Anonymity.
Anonymity.
And we're going to get this right. Anonymity?
Yes.
Thank you. All right.
The M is at the end, not at the beginning.
Anonymity.
Anonymity. There you go.
I got it. All right, cool.
You got it.
But speaking of Last Jedi and kind of like that kind of discourse, The reason why I think I'm really glad that you brought that up, because Last of Us Part 2 was kind of like that moment for the games industry where like it was what everybody talked about and everybody had an opinion on. And children and childlike nature is exactly a great way to say it, David, because even paid subscribers on Last Stand Media's Patreon at the time would troll, go in there, and they would just go into every comment of every post on their Patreon, and they would copy and paste spoilers for Last of Us Part 2 before the game came out, because Last of Us Part 2 did leak early on because of the pandemic, because of the move to online only development. You had a lot of factors that led to that leak. So the game got leaked, the whole story synopsis, what happens in it, everything gets just blah on the internet for everybody to see, with screenshots and videos and dev diaries and all this kind of stuff. And people found out, I think, who it was. They got the perpetrator. Oh, no. It was a guy who hacked their servers because people were going to go home and work, and he was able to get in through the security stuff like that. So anyway, that got leaked, and it got leaked like 3 or 4 months early, which is crazy. This game came out, I think, in March or April of 2020, and it got leaked like, I think, in December or January. Crazy, right? I could be wrong by that. It was before, definitely months before the game came out. So anyway, this happens, right? And I wasn't a subscriber to their Patreon at the time, but I remember them talking on the podcast. Like, he's like, I had to ban so many people from our Patreon and kick them out because they were going through and trolling us. And every comment was just spoiling the whole game and saying like, so-and-so dies, or this happens, or this person kills that person, and you play as this person, all this kind of crazy stuff. And they were going through and just being complete, total a-holes. And it was a really interesting situation and a telltale warning of how to handle a community. I think Colin did as best as he could, but it was sad because he basically had to be the meme where the soldier, the picture of the famous picture of the soldier over the child, and he has all the arrows and the knives and the fire on his back. It was that meme. That was Colin protecting his community the best he could. The stuff still got out there, but it's like, people would even troll. I think there was Luke Stevens, I think was a guy I looked up who I follow on YouTube, and he got emailed, and in the email, it was like, hello, so-and-so, this is the such and such marketing company. We want to work with you, blah, blah, blah. Also, so-and-so dies in this game.
Oh my God.
It was that bad. Like, people were like doing it to that extent, spoiling and ruining it for everybody.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of a lot of the stuff that happened when the last two Harry Potter books came out.
Oh yeah.
You had people like lined up for the release, and then people would just drive by and be like, Dumbledore dies.
Spoilers.
It's just,
that's crazy. Or like the Family Guy. I can't believe he was Luke's father. And they're like, what? And we got banned from there. But it just goes to show the work people are willing to put into being just complete degenerates and a-holes. And it just boggles my mind, because that's not the world you or me come from. Like, we're like, why would you do that? Why not put your time and effort into
something worthwhile,
like a podcast or a YouTube channel, or making video essays, or an essay, or a blog, or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's one thing to want to troll people and, see the reactions, but it's like when you go to those extreme lengths to troll people, it's just like, what are you even accomplishing?
And I think also with The Last Jedi, it left a stink on everything Star Wars after that.
Yeah.
It left it on Andor, it left it on Rise of Skywalker, but that movie didn't need it.
You know what it really left? You know what it really poisoned was the Solo movie.
Oh, that's
Because both of us, if I remember correctly,
we both went to go see it.
Went to see it, and
yeah,
despite the some of the weirder elements like the feminist robot and all that, overall it was a pretty decent movie.
Yeah,
but it just bombed.
It bombed hard
because the utter stink of The Last Jedi was just made people be like, nah, I don't want to go see this movie.
I remember on the way home, you actually gave me a ride home from Last Jedi. Do you remember that? Like we went with Matt and Heather.
Yeah.
And I think Matt and Heather were like, are they dating or not? They were definitely dating at the time. And I was like, oh, you guys aren't going to give me a ride home? And they're like, no, we don't live in Capay. And I'm like, well, neither does David. And you're like, I'll give you a ride home. And then you just gave me a ride home and we argued about The Last Jedi the whole way home.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, when did you first watch Star Wars? I'm like, it was on the VHS, you know, and I watched the originals first. And I don't remember what I said. But
Yeah. I don't
and then
know.
on the way home from Solo, no, you didn't go with this to Solo, I don't think. Did you?
I don't. Well, I remember I saw it in theaters.
Yeah, you saw it in theaters.
I don't remember if I went with you guys to see it.
Yeah, because we had, I think it was like a car full of, Connor was with us, I know. And it was so funny because when the thing happens at the end and there's a character reveal at the end, I'm not going to spoil it because you should go watch Solo, audience. But when that character reveal happens, I was so giddy with excitement. Like I was losing my ish in theater so hard that like to my left, Matt is sitting next to me and he's watching me freak out. And I'm like, oh my God. And he's like laughing because of my reaction. And I keep going. No, even through the ending shootout scene. Like I keep reacting to it. I can't freaking believe this. And Matt's crying, laughing. When that happened, because of my reaction and because he's crying, laughing, Heather's sitting next to him crying, laughing, because we're just trying to keep quiet. And then Connor's right next to me going, what? I don't get it. What's happening?
Oh my God.
It was so funny.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing too.
Anyway.
that like I'm sure a lot of Star Wars nerds like lost their shiz when that part happened.
Yeah, I did.
I was
you were like, oh come on, this is dumb.
I mean,
It's pretty dumb.
I thought it was kind of a cool twist, but I wasn't like, yeah, I was just like, oh, that's interesting.
That's interesting, you know.
But it's really funny how the fallout of The Last Jedi being the way it was so bad that not only did it cause Solo to bomb, but the planned sequel that they spoiled at the end of Solo, I think it was supposed to be the Obi-Wan movie.
Yep.
That was going to continue on the story where the Solo movie left off.
Yep.
And that got killed in development because of how badly Solo bombed.
And there was going to be a Boba Fett film in development with James Mangold and all this kind of crazy stuff. But Star Wars films being announced to be in development is like, oh, kid at the candy store gets his candy bar, but then gets shot, like happens every day in America.
Well, I mean, it's not. Well, it wasn't just the fact that like
there's a plan set in
all
place,
sorts of things, all sorts of things that are said to be in development end up not happening in Star Wars land.
Yeah,
but this
up until Last Jedi, that was.
This was a different case because it was like the end of the movie clearly signaled that there was going to be another follow-up movie to continue this plot thread.
Yeah.
And then, but because Solo did so bad, they're like, nah, we're not going to do that no more.
Yeah, and that would have been really great. And I'm not going to get into it. I want to talk about Obi-Wan, but
it probably would have been a lot better than the actual Obi-Wan TV show that did come out.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, The Last Jedi left a stink on all that. And I feel like I would compare that same thing to Last was Part 2. It's a stink on every single thing Naughty Dog specifically is going to do.